It is now official. Everything we have already known. It is now official. Mike Vrabel will be the next head football coach of the New England Patriots. And you can go look at my last video. Not my first option, but he is a good option. He is a culture builder. He is a he is he is a man amongst men, and just because I don't think he is the best guy for the job doesn't mean I don't think he is a right guy for the job. Thing is, with those kind of sayings, you always think it's just one guy. No, there are multiple people that can come in, be successful in New England with this roster, with this particular situation. And Mike Vrabel is undoubtedly one of them. Now, for those who may have forgotten about Mike Vrabel, or the legend of Mike Vrabel that has only grown since his departure from Tennessee, let's take a look at that, shall we? So, his time as the head football coach at Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill, the wide receiver turned quarterback, won 2 division titles, went to a AFC championship game with, in 2019, making Tom Brady's final game as a Patriot a embarrassing loss, his final pass as a Patriot, an interception to Super Bowl hero Malcolm Butler. And also in that game, and I remember because I chuckled because of the irony of it. Mike Vrabel outsmarted Belichick and was able to melt 2 minutes off the clock without running a single play. It was a tremendous job by Mike Vrabel, and that is undoubtedly a highlight in his coaching career, and it will be for the rest of time. Some may not remember. I do. I love the cat and mouse between coaches, and especially coaches of the caliber of Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. And it's always fun to see super genius, that guy who's got a plan for every single thing, finally get outsmarted even if he's your guy. It's always interesting to see that. Nonetheless, like I said, 2 division titles, 1 AFC Championship game appearance, again with Ryan Tannehill, and went 54-45 as the head football coach at Tennessee. And what has Tennessee done since he's left? Oh, right, they're a top 3 pick. Well, yeah. So that is the Mike Vrabel effect. Now, and like I said earlier, it seems like I'm kind of doing a 360. I'm not. I still think a Ryan Day, Ben Johnson, Lane Kiffin would work in this situation. But so does Mike Vrabel, and I know in the last video I said I want an offensive-minded guy. He is Mike Vrabel, with the way that he has handled himself in Tennessee. And I probably should have expanded on this in the video that I made in when Gerard Mayo was fired. But Mike Vrabel is the exception to the rule. He is such a personality. He is such a tremendous leader among men, which is what you need to be in the NFL. It is an exclusive to almost all of sports. In football, for a head football coach in the NFL, you need a leader of men, and that is exactly what Mike Vrabel brings to the table. That's always that hidden thing that you don't know if somebody's got it until they're there. Now, as we already mentioned, New England Patriots have hired Mike Vrabel. This is from CBS. Matt Egan. Apologize if I butcher the name, but he is the 16th head coach in history of the Patriots, third in the last 3 years. Already went through a bit of his history, his career with the Patriots, 3-time Super Bowl champ. I think he's 3-time. 2? Oh, 2. Okay. So, but here's the interesting thing. With a defensive-minded head coach being hired, now the next most important hire, and the one that I was screaming about from the mountaintops, who's the offensive coordinator? Who could possibly come in? And my biggest thing is, who can you at least keep for a while? Be able to establish that offensive identity from somebody who knows what they're doing, is exceptional at their job, but won't get poached. Well, by God, we have an answer. We have an answer. And I should have seen it. It was a little bit of a denial because of how ugly this has gone for this particular individual. But you tend to grow a love for an individual when he leaves. Actually, you know what? I'll put it this way. You tend to love your ex-girlfriend when your current girlfriend is a mean, nasty witch. Yeah, that's a W, YouTube. That's a W. Just a W. But you all know what I mean. And so you tend to miss that ex-girlfriend, even though she nagged you about doing this, nagged you about doing that, and you miss it because that nagging with the ex-girlfriend is now jumping down your throat, cussing you out, threatening divorce even though you're not married, threatening to take the dog, the house, and all she really wanted you to do is take out the trash, but by God, you're working those 60-hour weeks and you just simply cannot do it because... Anyway, I digress. I promise there's nothing going on like that in my personal life. But anyway, original point. That man is Josh McDaniels. With Mike Vrabel coming in, he's going to be running his defense with whatever defensive coordinator he brings in. You now have Josh McDaniels back running the offense. And if you remember, Mac Jones' experience was going very well under Josh McDaniels. I mean, what was it? 11-5, wild card spot in the playoff. Yeah, got smacked by the Bills in Buffalo in that playoff game, but things were looking up. And then Josh McDaniels goes off to Raiders, and Bill Belichick decides that Mac Jones isn't worth developing. And this is the only thing that I can come up with, is that Belichick had some kind of moment of like Alzheimer's or something, and had Matt Patricia calling the offensive plays. When just a few years before that, I think about 3-4 years before that, he was the defensive coordinator, the rocket scientist on defense, and now he's calling offensive plays. Make that make sense, somebody out there. But nonetheless, this would actually turn the Mike Vrabel hire into an A- to an A+, and Josh McDaniels from an A+ to an A++. because this is where you have everything you could possibly need. A leader among men, an offensive-minded genius, and have what you need patrolling each side of the ball. With the head man being the heart and soul of the team, which isn't a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, actually, when you have Mike Vrabel, who has taken a poverty franchise like Tennessee, and make no mistake, outside of Mike Vrabel and Jeff Fisher, it is a poverty-stricken, third-rate franchise. And has made it into a valiant force without actually ever having a real quarterback. And now he has a quarterback in New England who through all the turmoil has played well. And I trolled good friend Gabe a lot on this, even though I've actually I've actually kind of got him thinking that it's not a bit. It sort of is, sort of isn't. I do think Joe Milton can be great, can be very, very good. But Drake May, he's got potential. He does. And Drake May will be the best quarterback Vrabel has ever worked with. And Josh McDaniels is probably going to be the best offensive coordinator Vrabel has worked with. Now, the big thing is going to be over the next 2, 3, 4 years is building through the draft, finding that diamond in the rough in the 3rd round, in the 4th round, in the 5th round, and getting those serviceable or even like a legitimate diamond that you find in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And turning those 3rd, 4th rounder guys into those Pro Bowl cusp players. All Pro to All Pro cusp players. That's going to be the big key. And so that's the most important part in this is, can Mike Vrabel draft? Is he going to be and that's going to be more on the GM, which some people in Boston media like him. Some people are very skeptical. They're unweary. There you go. They are very weary of I think it's Wolf is his name. They are very, very skeptical of the Patriots general manager. I when you know something's going bad, you don't pay that close attention, okay? That's just the reality of the situation. But nonetheless, many are Elliot Wolf. Yep, there we go. For some reason, I thought it was John. But yeah, many are very weary on Elliot Wolf, and and I'm assuming it was him that had the bright idea to draft what seems to be potentially working out. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, still close. Still the jury's still out. But draft Drake May over Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers. He made the decision to draft the 3rd best wide receiver on the Washington Huskies in the 2nd round, and having plenty of ammunition to go up and get a Keon Coleman or a Ladd McConkey. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm happy with the hire. I like the hire, especially if Josh McDaniels comes back on board. Then it makes that hire that much better. Of Or maybe Vrabel has somebody else he has in mind, which it's going to be completely up to him. And I have my full faith in Mike Vrabel to decide what he wants to do with the offense. And as far as the draft goes, I know I'm kind of doing a 180 on this, and this one I'll own up to, and I'll probably change my mind like 8 different times to the draft. But my feel right now, and it's pretty much all it is I think the Patriots would be better suited to trade out of that 4th pick, especially if Travis Hunter's still available, because that makes that pot a lot sweeter. Is to draft out of that spot, move back, go get a Emeka Ibuka, Tez Johnson, Isaiah Bold. Go after one of those guys at wide receiver. That way you have a stockpile of picks, maybe another number 1 for next year. You're at least going to have a couple seconds. Second rounders, depending on how far back you go. And you'll really be able to kick that rebuild into overdrive. And actually do something meaningful in the 2025 season. So those are my thoughts on the matter. That's I think is the best option for the Patriots as far as the draft goes for now. When we get closer to that time of year, I will do a full mock on what I would do if I was making the picks of those teams. Let me tell you, when it comes to quarterbacks, I'm not wrong often. And if I am wrong, it's not because I was wrong. It was mainly because the team messed them up. I was very high on Mac Jones. I was very high on Justin Fields. And as we all know, Belichick messed up Mac Jones. That is 100% on Bill Belichick. And Justin Field went to the Bears. Tell me the last time the Bears had a decent quarterback who doesn't have the nickname Smokin' Jay. Exactly. So, that is what I have for you today. If you're listening on podcast, thank you very much. Make sure to download, follow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we got football, NASCAR, Formula One, and college football as well. Some of you obviously already know that, but we got it all here. We got all of life's needs right here. Patriot Dylan, and we will see you next time.